Good afternoon, people. My name is Daniel Lopez Cerqueda, and today I will show you a presentation about the perception of security in Mexico. First of all, I'm telling you about the objective of this project. This project's objective was made to perform the analysis of data about the perception of security in Mexico through the organization, presentation, and interpretation of the results. The purpose of this project is to know in a more precise way what is the opinion of Mexican citizens about the security in their country. Security in Mexico is an issue of constant concern that has generated discontent among the population in the recent years. Despite government efforts to address the country's problems of violence and crime, many continue to express distrust of security. These are the reasons why the population does not agree. High crime rates. Mexico has faced significant challenges in terms of organized crime, drug trafficking, and related violence. Therefore, the population is concerned about the negative effects of people's safety. Impunity. This is an important factor for the Mexican justice system, for the lack of punishment of those responsible for crimes and corruption within security and justice institutions. Human rights violations. Documenting numerous cases of human rights abuses by security forces in Mexico, this has generated protests and criticism both nationally and internationally. Enforced disappearances. The issue of this problem that has sparked outrage and anger in the families of disappeared persons struggling for answers and justice. Corruption. In the case of government and security institutions, dishonesty has weakened the state's ability to effectively combat crime and ensure the security of the population. At the same time, a vibrant analysis will be carried out about the concern of people involved with the issue of corruption. For this study, 1,501 people were interviewed where the ages began from 18 to 98 years, throwing various percentages such as the 25% of the population is around 30 years old and the 75% is 57 years old. So it is also observed that the average age is between 44.4 years, being 30 years the most repeated data. Kurtosis helped us to observe that less than half of the population, that is minus 0.41%, are grounded around the average, this resulting in a fairly pointed and slender distribution called leptoquartic kurtosis. 54.6% of the surveyed people were women, while the 45.4% were men. Coming up with the entities, we can see that the state with more answers given was the capital of Mexico, with more than 100 answers given. In second place, can be found the state of Sinaloa with exactly 70 answers. And in the third place, we can find two states with the same number of answers, which are Tamaulipas and Veracruz. The last place is Guanajuato with only 22 answers. Talking about poverty, for this graph, the reasons why the population of Mexico is concerned about poverty are the impact of quality of life, economic inequality, health, education, economic insecurity, the cycle of poverty, social instability, dignity and self-esteem, as well as on the development of the community and the country as a whole, because the fight against poverty is a fundamental challenge in the search for a more just and equitable society in Mexico. 1,117 people out of 1,501 are not worried about poverty. The rest of them are actually worried. As we can see, there are more people unworried about the employment than the people worried. On one side, we can see that the majority of people concerned about the insecurity in their country. In the other side, 41% of the citizens don't even care about the security in Mexico. Concern about corruption in Mexico varies according to various personal, social, and cultural factors. Some reasons may include negative impact on society, ethical values, civic awareness, and on the other hand, the lack of concern, the lack of reasons may be due to desensitization, distrust of the system, personal gain, and lack of reliable information. The 82.7% of the citizens are not concerned about the criminals being punished for their actions, while the 17.3% agree that the criminals should be punished for their actions. 412 people have a positive perception of safety in their state. 1,062 people, candidates, have a negative idea of the security in their state. 27 people have no knowledge of the security of their state or simply just ignore this issue. From the survey, it's notable that there are more people who have a perception of security about safety in public transport, with 750 responses. 408 people have the opposite opinion as the 750 persons. Only 377 people at the time of asking preferred not to comment of this project. Only one person was not aware of this subject. More than 50% of people have a bad image about road safety. 580 people feel the roads are safe. 84 people did not answer this question, and only 6 persons were unaware of this danger. In this study, the ages of the respondent and their concerns about the issue of corruption were analyzed. We can see that the average age of those who answered affirmatively to the survey, as well as those who answered the opposite, were around 44.4 years old and 44.09 years old. 25% of the people who answered negatively are 30 years old, and on the other hand, 25% of the people who answered affirmatively are 29 years old. 75% of the answers given negatively were people aged between 57 years. The other 75% of people are 56 years old. As we can see, this histogram shows us that there is a little variability between the ages. However, it is not very notable since the ages of the respondents for both answers are close to each other. So, this was all for my part, and I thank you for your attention.